Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to take a look at tweaking a few things, like changing our profile mixing to a component. We're going to take a look at setting some ground for basically having special actions for like special UI for moderators and admin. Yes, admin. Somehow you're going to have to invite moderators into the platform. We will need an admin panel for that. So that's just more episodes, right? We're also going to take a look at basically setting up the UI for allowing moderators to edit categories and difficulties. And I think there's going to be a little bit of mobile work, like making the UI look pretty for mobile. So nevertheless, let's just get going. I'm going to put timestamps in the description. Let's go, right? So first of all, let's start with converting our component that we had here. So this profile component, we can go ahead and convert it into a view component. We can say profile completed tricks component, right? We can go ahead, copy everything that we have inside here into here. And primarily, the reason for why I'm making this into a component, if you remember me in the previous episode, I've been saying this kind of ghost profile made me a little bit uneasy. So that's the reason that I'm changing it, because I thought about it, like a component's way better, right? Why would we use what's it called? Why would we use a mixin? So anyway, for the props, we're gonna specify profile submissions, right? These are going to be required true and type array. Okay, and submissions. Okay, there we go. Right, that was way harder than I thought. Anyway, so we have these profile submissions, and another thing that I wanted to do is I kind of want to, when I click on the submission, I want to go to the best possible submission. So if we have multiple submissions against a trick, one of those submissions might be the best submission. We want to go to that one, right? So for this, we are going to add another computer property, submissions, where we're going to just copy the array and we're gonna sort it, right? So the reason I'm sorting it is because we have the score in there, and I want to sort it by basically descending score. So the first elements that we pick, the other duplicate occurrences will get filtered out here. And the reason we're making a copy of the array is because sort mutates the thing that we're applying it to. So it doesn't make a duplicate like filter and map does. So if we're passing something from a Vuex store, we cannot mutate it directly. We're just gonna sort it here like this, right? So first we're gonna sort the submissions, and then we're gonna grab them here, okay? And the way that we sort them is we have one element and then the second element in the array. We want to take the score and do something like minus b score, right? So the next minus the previous one. That's how we sort it. Right, so we got this component. Let's go ahead and put it into a couple of places. Let's delete the profile. A couple places, exactly 2 places, will be the index on the profile. It will be this bit here. So let's go ahead and grab this template, basically the bit, and just put it here, right? So completed tricks, everything should look exactly the same. And let's just remove the profile that we have here, the mixin that we register, and let's just make sure that we bring in our profile completed tricks, and then profile submissions, profile submissions, okay? And I mean, you know where those submissions come from. Let's go ahead, copy this underscore username. So this will be on a particular users page. Let's go ahead, put this here. Just make sure we import the component, delete the line. Again, remove the directory, remove the mixin, and everything should work exactly as it did. So let's come back here. Do we need to log in? I don't think we need to. Let's come back here, and basically, if we go to the backflip now, what you should see is the one with the biggest score, right? And still the same kind of effect. If we do end up scrolling down to where submission was, it is not populated there, right? So that's pretty much around displaying the best submission and basically turning this into its own component. So let's go ahead, close that, and move on to the next thing. The next thing particularly that I'm going to be implementing is around this if component, right? So at the moment, it controls if you're signed in, if you are not signed in. I mean, two clauses. But the thing that is a little bit more interesting here is if we pass roles. So if this component was aware of, like, if you're a moderator, if you're an admin, it can provide that fine-grained control as well. Okay. So in here, let's just quickly go into auth. And what we're going to do is we are going to for now mock up our admin. So we're just returning false here, but this is something that we're going to work on in the future. Okay. In the if-auth, what I want to do is on the getters, on the authentication here, we can also get moderator and admin. These are the things that we can bind as well. So we can say moderator and just bind moderator, and then we can bind admin, and we can bind admin as well. Okay, so how this is going to get used, let's see. We'll go to the default layout. So the default layout, this is the part where we have this navigation bar, and it's one of those components that we haven't really sorted out to look on, on the mobile. So part of this episode is going to be sorting it out. And basically in here, we have a couple of things that we would like to sort out. So first of all, specifically with this if-auth, if we're allowed, let's go ahead and extract moderator, right? So we're extracting this property that we're passing here. And if we have this button, we can put it here and we can say if moderator. I know it's a little bit easier if we're not a moderator, we can try and reach it, but I think go there only if you're a moderator, right? Now that we have that button, let's go ahead and try to sign in, mod, password, right? And we're gonna have this button again, we're gonna have the create and whatnot. So that's pretty much it for this component, but one of the main things that I wanna do is I wanna make this UI look prettier for mobile, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. You'll kind of see how this is gonna look like. So let's take this here and put something like TL. So I'm kind of imagining it could be some kind of icon there, but for now, that will do, right? It's a scuffed setup. So what we do is we apply a couple of classes. So display none, where we say just don't show it, and then we say display on some kind of breakpoint. So for me, it will be medium. Again, this is something that you can look up on the Vuetify documentation. Just type in display in the search and look through it. But here we'll just say something like flex. I don't think it matters too much which display it is, but we just say that on the medium breakpoint and up, just display the flex. So this is what it's going to look like, right? So as soon as we go to a certain point, it's going to turn to a small one, right? On here, we want to do the opposite. So let's just go ahead, copy this. Usually, just display flex. Otherwise, on medium and up, don't display it, right? So as soon as we, turn to a smaller display, we want to remove elements and shrink them if possible. Moderation, I'm going to say, let's just go ahead and remove it all together from here and put it in the menu here, okay? So we copy this class. We can put it here on the moderation item, on the moderation button. We'll not actually copy the classes because we already have a class here. And we can put it here. So as soon as we go down, you will see this looks a little bit wonky. Let's go ahead and actually, because basically, if I can describe it correctly, this VF acts like a div inside of here, and this is displaying flex. So these items are not like destructured into the above elements, if that makes sense. So let's just put deflex here. And we'll align center as well. I think that's what was needed. So yeah, so it pretty much looks like that, right? And if we go down, hide the moderation button with the cluster that we had here. I mean, we can try to smooth it out a little bit. And otherwise, let's go ahead and add a thing in here. Moderation. We will just I mean, we'll just copy the text. Let's just grab the 2. We'll put it on the vlist item. And the icon itself, I think clipboard, that's what I wanted to do. Right, I mean, it looks like a clipboard. It looks like, you know, things to check off. So, you know, put whatever icon you want there. I'm just gonna put clipboard. It looks all right to me. So moderation item, only display it on smaller ones. So let's just put the class here. And there we go, right? So usually that's gonna be hidden. That's gonna be out there. If you're on mobile, that's gonna be there with the create button, because it's a content creation dialog. I mean, it's a little bit awkward here. I'm probably not going to change it due to time constraints, because I do want to publish this at some point. We're just gonna say basically display create usually, and otherwise let's just get a V icon in here. Let's close this. MDI, I think it was plus block, so just a big plus, and that should be fine. So depressed, I don't think I need that. Grab the other classes, put them here, and just specify icon on here. Remove the other 2. Right, and the effect that we're looking for is essentially having the create button be an icon, plus block, plus box, maybe. I think, okay, yeah, and there it is. Right, so that is approximately what I was looking for. So you can see if we do go on mobile, I mean, it still looks okay. It doesn't look like it's, you know, crooked. It's not crooked anymore. One thing is this thing right here is a little bit too close. So on the Nux link here, let's just say on the classes margin right, I think it is 2 that we want, just a little bit of space here. Yep, so that looks fine. One thing you see here, if we click on this, this is fine, this is fine. If we click on this, this menu right here, it could be full screen. So let's go ahead and just make it full screen. So let's just inspect it. Let's get maybe somewhere the outer view. So I think this is it. We can grab via complete content, content menu. Yep. Let's just go ahead and grab one of these classes here. You can see that this thing is really sitting outside, so it's kind of overlaid on top of the whole application. So what we want to do is we won't be able to apply the styles from within the scope of the navbar search. So we'll just go to our main SCSS and we'll just put it here, right? So the things that we want is make the width like 100%. So if we go in here, we'll say 100%. A couple of things as it has like this left 51%, 51 pixels. So if we remove that, you can see it is, you know, more or less stretched out. And another property, if you look through here, you'll find max width 80%. So if we remove that, we pretty much get our result. So we want to override all of these properties. So let's go ahead and say width 100%, not important. Let's say left 0, and I think it will be max width, yeah, max width 100%, not important. Okay, so if we give it a refresh, usually when changing CSS, you want to give it a full refresh. That's how it looks like. So the only problem is, you know, if we go full screen, it's gonna look exactly the same. So let's just go ahead, give this a media. We will say not all, just put brackets here, and max width. I think we can take 600 pixels. I'm not pulling out 600 out of my ass, you know. It's not random. It is one of the breakpoints on the Vuetify documentation. So if we take a look at display breakpoints, less than 600 pixels, right? So this effect will only take effect if we're less than 600 pixels, which is usually a mobile area, right? So there we are. Right. So coming back here, I think that was more or less it. If we go ahead, close all of these, and kind of start laying foundation for the future work, where moderators should be able to edit categories and difficulties. We will only put in kind of the views for it. We're not going to implement the backend logic. That will be in the next episode. Let's go ahead, add a directory on here, and we'll just add moderation on here. For the moderation, what we want to do, we want to go into the pages where we have moderation and the index view. So the first thing is, because this sort of has again, so I'll just do a little intermission here where the items that are displayed here are moderation items. So this could be a trick, this could be a category, this could be a difficulty. I'm going to name the component moderation items. At the moment, the way I'm looking at it, there is not going to be a moderation process for categories or difficulties, right? I'm keeping that door open. I'm not going in there though, okay? So let's go ahead and create a moderation item feed. Okay, we're gonna take everything from here. So let's say we can just take the v list. Not sure why the div is there. Yep, so the v list, so that's fine. Everything else from here I think can come in here as well, right? And it's as if nothing's changed really. We just want to supply some, some stuff in here. The actual stuff that I wanted to is to put in there are tabs, right? So kind of like just switch between them, get the appropriate view, that sort of thing. So let's go ahead and do it. Let's find something like this. Yeah, that looks really cool. vcard, vtitle. Yep, let's grab the whole thing. We'll put it here, and just gotta remove some things. So the title really doesn't need to be there. The color, the grow, I think that can be alright. vmodel tab, that's something that we're gonna need to add. So let's go ahead and what is this? Let's go ahead and remove all of this stuff here. So first of all, let's go ahead and get some data in here. And in here, we're just gonna have items, or let's say tabs. I think, yeah, okay, it's turned off. So there's gonna be one component and actual tab. So what tab are we on? We start at 0, that's fine. So vmodel tab, grow, I'm not sure what the grow is about. If we need to find out, we can. So tabs, for tab in tabs, or let's just name it TT. This is going to be moderation tab, and we'll say something like, let's grab an index from here. I'll just put the index here. Let's put this here. Okay, on one body and T title. All right. So here we're gonna have title, moderation, and some kind of component. Right. So this is a familiar pattern. I think I've already used this. I don't know if I can even call it a pattern. It's just like, just trying to be clean kind of thing. And then the rest of the stuff. So yep, in here goes the component is item. So if we go into tabs, this is going to be T. Again, we're just gonna grab the index from here, so we can set the key to be the tab body, or we can call it item, whatever you prefer, and T component. Okay. So again, vmodel tab, title. Yep, that looks okay to me. So if we come back here, we go to the moderation screen. That's what it looks like. Grow, I think that's that's what grow does. So if we remove that, let's see what that does. So moderation, yeah. So maybe grow is fine. Let's see. So we got a couple of commas here, categories and difficulties. Right, categories, difficulties. If we add more, let's see if there are any more desirable options. Maybe something like this. Maybe what's what options? Align with title. I don't think that's what we want. Let's see it without grow. I'm curious now. Yeah, maybe a little bit. It's a little bit too, how do I say it? Cramped up in there. So I think for now grow is fine. Okay, and to start at 0, if we refresh, we start moderation. Okay, that's fine. So for the component here, let's go ahead and import a from at components. What do we have in our components? The moderation folder, and ooh, I'm a little bit lost here. Moderation item feed. There it is. Unused import. Okay, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and moderation item feed. We'll take this. We'll put it in the component here. All good. I think the only module is not installed. Maybe this. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So that's that. One thing is right here. I'm not a fan of this tab thing here. So let me cut the video here. I'll play about with it, and the end result, I'll just explain what I did to make it look how it looks. Okay, so coming back, this is what we want to do, right? So make it just make it a little bit bigger. We'll put it in the V toolbar. That seemed to give it a little bit more pop, you know. Look at it, right? It's a little bit bigger now. And here I decided to put centered, so it just looks, you know, it's just a little bit better. I don't know why. More pleasant to the eye. Whatever. Let's make it look how you want it. I think it looks better now. So for the categories and difficulties, let's go ahead and sort out our views for that as well. So in the moderation folder, let's say view moderation category overview. So we'll be tempted to create the same view for difficulties and categories. I think keep them different. You're never gonna know when they change. Okay, right in here, let's just go ahead and copy the v list, and we're gonna try to, what's it called, customize it, right? Most of the stuff, item updated, I think I want to keep that. This v content can go. Let's get our computed properties in here. Map state from tricks. We want to grab array of lists, right? Let's get the import, right? In lists, we're gonna have categories, and then category. And for the key, we can get moderation category. And I appreciate this is probably flying behind my face. I will put it on separate lines here, right? So you can see it. So where are we going to? We're going to category on a category ID. Yep, that should be fine. The username, let's not display the username. I don't think that will be needed. For the title, we can just take category name. VF, this is never going to be the case. Let's go ahead, display the description here. Like that. We don't need the function. Update it. I don't think we have this right now, so if we, okay, we can't see it yet. That's okay. Let's just keep putting stuff on here. List item actions. Yep, so that's what I want. We'll have two of these. One for edit, one for delete. If you click on the thing, it will take you to wherever it needs to take you, right? Might need to do a little bit of event propagation here as well, so we will see. Let's go ahead and put a V button on here. And this is going to be an icon, and the V icon, the actual icon, that is going to be MDI pencil. The other thing is going to be delete, I believe. Yeah, let's actually use this component. So what is it complaining about here? Element v list is not closed. Oh, okay, we don't have a closing what's it called? V list item. There we go. So now on the index page here, let's go ahead and copy this. Just the last bit, we're gonna have moderation category overview. So let's just have moderation category overview component. Put it here, put it on the categories, and let's go ahead and take a look at it, right? So standard stuff. Let's see, property or method not defined, blah, blah, blah. Let's see where we have mod item. Mod item updated, right? So just grab it from the category, and that should be fine. Let's give this a refresh. So this is probably another view that we need to take care of, but we'll take care of it later. So this is what it looks like now. Last updated, it's currently not there, but that's something that we can definitely put on there. Right, so you should be able to go ahead and edit these. You've seen how if you click on these, it does, you know, navigate you first. So let's go ahead and take care of that right now. So on here, when we do click on these, so on click, we'll do stop. And for now, we just don't need to do anything because we don't have the functions. And on this V button as well. So let's take a look. I don't think this will actually prevent the 2 that we got here. So on here, let's say on click, we'll have a function where we can say, or do we need a function? Let's take the router. We can push this router on here, right? So just give this a refresh, go categories, and now if we click on the button, the ripple animation may be alright, but yeah, the point is as long as we just click on this thing and it takes you where it needs to take you. Another thing is if we go to categories and we come back, it pops us back to moderation instead of the categories or difficulties, whatever screen we're going to be on. I think we can change that as well by putting stuff in the route, but that's going to be for later when we, I don't know, polish it. I think we've been polishing it for a couple of episodes now, but let's stop talking. Let's get this shit over with, right? Copy moderation category overview. Just put difficulty overview in here. Let's go ahead and remove this on all the category occurrences. Let's say difficulty occurrence, right? Categories, difficulties, pretty much it. Let's make sure we grab difficulty overview, copy. Yeah, let's make sure we don't have copy in there. Don't forget the dot. And let's put this on the difficulty, right? So if there is anything else a moderator needs access to, any information to edit, moderate, whatever, we just, you know, add it to these tabs, and they can go ahead and, you know, knock themselves out. Same thing. I think maybe it will be worth not putting the button on here, although I think it's fine for now. Now, the last couple of things is this last updated that's not popping up here. Let's go ahead, close everything, and we'll just bring in category. We'll also bring in mutable. And at the moment, we're just inheriting from the base model. Mutable expects an integer, so let's just change mutable to accept a T key, so type key. We're going to pass it to base model. And anywhere where this error occurs, we can go ahead and change it, right? So the way that I'm going to navigate to the error, you can use whatever errors are popping up here, but for me it's Shift Alt page down, next error, right? Here we're just going to form the moderation item. We're just going to use integer. For the review, we're going to use integer. For the submission vote, we're going to use integer. For nothing else pops up, good. Come back to category. Change this to mutable, and let's open up difficulty, and let's change this to mutable as well. Okay, and I think that is pretty much it. Now we just gotta refresh it and just make sure that it's actually displaying it right. Let's take a look. If there is nothing there, yep, not for both of them. That means, well, you know, that means view models. So category view models, updated. On difficulty view models, same thing, updated. Let's make sure we pull that through. Okay, just get that, refresh this, and okay, and okay. Last thing, where did we use moderation item controller? Definitely somewhere in there. And there we go, right? So this thing right here, let's copy it. Could probably put this into a function where we can reuse it, but no, right, let's just copy this whole line here on the categories view models. Let's just replace this, right? category. It's more, yeah, we can, whatever, man. Right, update it, remove that updated, put this updated, make sure your time looks pretty. I don't think I've ever implemented something like yesterday or 5 days ago, whatever. I think this time looks quite alright to me. So this will be it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. I know it doesn't seem like we've accomplished much, but we are laying some groundwork for the episodes to come. If you have any questions, as always, leave them in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Join my Discord server. I also stream on Wednesdays and Sundays. You probably already know. And as always, I'll see you in the next episode.